Good morning, kites and kestrels. Welcome to Thursday's talk for writing session. So today we are going to be looking at planning a poem. So obviously over the past 2 weeks or so we have been looking at lots of different poetry, all related to elephants really. So what we're going to be doing is planning our own. So we're going to take the original poem of A Dream of Elephants, written by Tony Mitton, and we are going to be looking at how we can innovate our version. So what we're going to be thinking about is, I want you to think of an imagined dream in which elephants speak to you. Now, I appreciate you might be thinking, what might an elephant want to say to me? And you might be right, okay? You probably haven't ever had a conversation with an elephant, at least where it's spoken back. But what I want you to be thinking about is actually, if you did, what research have we done over the last couple of weeks that might indicate what they might want to talk about? You might go down 2 different paths. I've gone down a certain path, that you'll see which one I've gone down. So, what might they say? Well, they might talk about their habitat destruction. You might have researched and found out that lots of places and habitats where elephants live are being cut down. So obviously, if their homes are being destroyed, then their survival is also at risk. So it might be that. They might be telling you about the illegal ivory trade, which is where poachers take their tusks away from them. So that is obviously quite negative. Or, I know some of you have been finding some interesting facts about elephants snorkeling. So you might take a really positive approach and think, actually, elephants have a brilliant life, and actually they can do lots and lots of exciting things during the day. I've seen pictures sent through of elephants playing in the mud, and lots of different things. And also a fact was that elephants eat something like 16 hours a day, which is incredible. So you might be telling you all about the things that they eat. So these are the different things I thought that elephants might say to you, but your research might also lead you down a different path. So today we are only looking at planning the poem. Tomorrow we'll be writing it. So today we need to be considering what types of things we want to include, what our structure might look like, and particularly the vocabulary and rhyming words that we would like to use, because this takes off the pressure from writing for us tomorrow. So here is my planning. Now, there isn't necessarily a planning sheet for you to use today, so you can just make some notes, just like I've bullet pointed. I have separated up the original poem into 5 different verses that they came in. So you can see on the first bit, we've got the verses broken up into verse 1, 2, 3, and then 4 and 5 on the next slide. You've got then a column where it says model text, which is where we started with A Dream of Elephants, and that's verse by verse now. And then the next column is our Innovate version and the plan for My Dream of Elephants. So I'm going to talk you through my plan verse by verse. So, verse 1 of A Dream of Elephants was, I dreamed a dream of elephants, I cannot tell you why, but in my dream I saw the herd go slowly walking by. So I'm thinking, well, if I want to change this poem to elephants speaking to me, rather than necessarily saying I saw a herd, I might say they spoke to me. So I might keep I dreamed a dream of elephants, I cannot tell you why. I might not, I might change that. But I'm thinking that in my dream, I might say they spoke to me. What might they speak to me, I was thinking. And I thought, well, elephants are wise animals, they're known to be quite wise. So I might say they spoke wise words to me. And I'm thinking, well, how would that make me feel? If they're speaking wise words, I thought maybe it might make me feel sad and upset. So my reaction to being sad and upset would be it made me cry. So maybe these wise words might make me feel emotional and make me cry. And there I would have my rhyming pair. So I've written down my rhyming pair, just why and cry. And then that is just my planning for one verse. I bullet pointed 4 different things. I've not written a lot. I've not written out my verse because that's tomorrow's vlog. So as you can see, I've bullet pointed my plan for verse 1. For verse 2, the original text was, they moved beneath the blazing sun, through rising dust and heat. They made their solemn journey on strong and silent feet. So if I go back a slide, and I'm thinking, actually, what I wanted was to think about what elephants might say to me, was that if elephants are going to speak to me, they might be talking about the poaching side of it, the ivory trade for their tusks. So I might be wanting to talk about poachers. I might be saying that actually poachers are there, they want to hunt the tusks. And if elephants are being hunted, they might want to hide away. And then I was thinking, the word tusks would be on my second line of my verse. What words rhyme with tusks? So we've got musk. Okay, and I thought dusk was a good one, because dusk is like sunset. So maybe I could talk about hiding away at sunset, and that would be a rhyming pair for my second verse. Remember, at this planning stage, we can always change our mind if it doesn't quite fit when we come to writing it. But at this stage, I think those are two planned verses. So verse 3, the original model text was, and as I watched, the steady herd walked slowly, sadly by, until I stood amazed alone beneath a silent sky. So here we've got, maybe, instead of I watched them, it could be, and as I listened carefully, because in my plan, I said that they're speaking wise words. So if an elephant is speaking to me, I would be listening. And if they're wise words, and I would like to think I was listening carefully to take in what was being said. So again, if I'm listening carefully, and I'm thinking, they've just told me that there's going to be poachers hunting for their tusks. What emotion would I be feeling again? And I think, well, I'm still going to feel sad and upset. But I don't want to repeat myself and say that they're going to make me cry again. So I might say about, actually, it might make me shed a tear. So it might be, in the case that the emotion might be, they made me shed a tear. And then I could have my rhyming pair with tear. I think, if I've got a tear, how are they feeling if they're being hunted? Maybe they feel fear. They're scared for their life. So that's my ideas. And again, I'm not writing my verse, I'm just planning some words and thinking about what might be happening and linking my ideas together. So those are verses 1 to 3. And now, I've gone on to verse 4 and 5 here on the next bit. So, verse 4 is from our original text. I watched them as they moved away. I watched as they walked on. They merged into the heat and dust till all of them were gone. So I thought maybe I could magpie, because we don't have to, when we innovate, completely make up our own. We can be taking some really creative ideas that we're impressed with and use it in our own. So maybe it could be I watched them. And as I watch these beautiful creatures, how might I be looking at them in my dream? Maybe I'm looking at them, gazing at them in awe because of what incredible creatures they are. Maybe because of how I've spoken about poachers and the fear aspect and the fact that they're being hunted might be a case that I might be scared that they might not be with us anymore because they might be poached and that obviously elephants are declining in the number that exist around the world, which is such a shame. And again, I've chosen my rhyming pair for that verse. I need to think about the words around them tomorrow, but I think or and any more are a really good rhyming pair. And then that brings us on to verse 5. And if you remember from our original poem, A Dream of Elephants, verse 1 and verse 5 were identical. So again, it's the same as verse 1. I dreamed a dream of elephants. I cannot tell you why, but in my dream I saw the herd go slowly walking by. And I think it's really powerful, this poem, with how it starts and ends with the same verse. And I think I'm going to magpie this idea, and I'm going to make sure that when I rewrite my poem, my Innovate version, I am going to use the same opening verse as my closing verse. So I noted down the same thing. Instead of I saw the herd, I'm going to say they spoke to me. Remember I said I wanted to use wise words because I think elephants are wise creatures. I said about the emotion because they're going to be telling me something on my journey and my dream that is not very nice, and it's going to make me feel sad and upset. So again, that made me cry. And again, I can remind myself a frying pan I'm going to use, which is wine and fry. So that is the expectation for today's thought for writing. What we would like you to do is work through those 5 different verses and plan your own. Like I say, you can completely magpie the idea, and we would like, if you would, to have verse 1 and verse 5 identical. That will also help you with your planning stage. Remember, think about what an elephant might say to you. Do you want to go down the positive route, that elephants have a really lovely and joyful life, and actually you can talk about all of those eating, the playful side of them, or do you want to talk about the harsh reality that faces our elephants today, which you have researched, so maybe it might draw more attention. And again, tomorrow, as we come to write it, you will be able to put all of your ideas together, and there'll be another video tomorrow showing how I'm going to put my planning stage together and help you. If you're confused by any of this, don't worry. Just try and think of a path to go down, an idea, sort of whether it's the snorkeling, the food, the ivory trade, whether it's the habitat destruction, and try and then think of some rhyming pairs as you go through. And hopefully, as it comes by tomorrow, then we can help you. But I know Ms. Martin and I are very much looking forward to your Innovate versions of your poem, which will be called My Dream of Elephants. So make sure you send your planning through to us. If you've got any questions or would like some assistance in your planning stage, then also send them through as you send this in to us, and then we'll be able to support you in that next stage. Okay, so for plan your 5 verses today, and we're very much looking forward to seeing what you come up with.